Hoki ora ki a tātou kua hui mai ki raro I te suanui o tēnei whare nei rā ngāmihi. Nei rā ngāmihi ki a koutou mo te tono mai ki a māua. Kia tai mai ki konei tēnei rā ki te ako I a koutou I te haka. I tā tātou Māoritanga. Ka tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Ora, hello. Ora, everybody, we are Logan and Aritaku, and we are obviously, oh sorry, not quite obvious. Can you guess which country we're from? New Zealand, not England. But we do live in London, yeah. So we're London based, and we've sort of come here today to share with you guys just a little bit about Māori culture, and then that'll say be sort of 10ish or so minutes, and then we're actually going to teach you guys how to do exactly what we've just done, which is our haka. So yeah, look forward to that. Yeah, so I'll just start with explaining what I just said then. That was called a mihi. Can we all say mihi?
Mihi.
Mihi. So mihi is a Māori word for acknowledgement, and it's very, very important that is one of the very first things that we do. So for us, back in the days, it was pretty much a quick identifier when a new tribe would come into your area. You would have this sort of formal engagement, and you would pretty much just identifying whether they were friend or foe. So pretty much what I was saying in that little speech there is that we are friend, we are not foe, and we have not come here to sort of war with you or hurt you. Yeah, so mihi, that's the very first thing that I did. From there, I'm just going to talk a little bit about our Māori values. Our Māori values pretty much underpin everything that we do in our culture, and it's something that's sort of inbred in us from birth. Okay, so I'm going to get you guys practicing these words because they will be very similar to the words you will be saying during our haka. So can we say kotahitanga?
Kotahitanga.
We'll start with ko. So can we say ko?
Ko.
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 Kotahi.
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 Kotahitanga.
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 Nice, excellent, very, very good. So, kotahitanga in English, that word means unity or togetherness. So, for us, a very important aspect of our culture. Most things that we do are all tribal, collective based. Even in today's day and age, we sort of use kōtahitanga as a way for us to sort of operate this current world, always thinking about the sort of bigger picture or the bigger collective, or us being part of just something bigger than ourselves. So that's kōtahitanga. And these values I'm just sort of giving you because as we do the haka and sort of perform it, I just want you to think back on the reasons why we sort of haka, and this is definitely one of them. Just making sure that we're all moving together as one. Our second word is whanaungatanga. Give that a quick go.
Whanaungatanga.
Nice, nice. That was all right. So, whānau. Whanaungatanga. Nice, excellent. This one, super simple, just means family, okay? Obviously directly related with our kōtahitanga, togetherness, but just culminating ourselves as one big family. So you guys right now, just being in this room here, you guys are whānau. You would be known as whānau with each other. So our next one is manaakitanga. Give it a go. Manaaki. Manaakitanga. Manaakitanga. Nice, excellent. So this one here, this one pretty much means generosity or looking after people, and again all tied in with our initial sort of concept, doing your best to be as generous as you can, to do as much as you can for the people around you. And yeah, so those are our three basic ones: kōtahitanga, whanaungatanga, and also manaakitanga. From there, I'm just going to give you a brief history of haka, the very first thing that we've just done, which will then lead into us performing the one that we're all going to take part of. Yes, so haka is two words. Ha means to breathe or to be alive, and ka means to ignite. So the literal translation for the word haka in English is to ignite life, which is where you see and hear the sort of guttural sounds, protruding tongues, widening eyes, big wide sort of lively actions. The origins of it in our Māori law is we have an atua known as tamanui te rā. Can we give that a go, please? Tamanui te rā. So that's essentially, that's our sun god. And then he had a son called Tāne Rore. Can we say Tāne Rore?
Tāne Rore.
So Tamanui Te Rā had a son called Tāne Rore, and he is said to have invented haka because the idea is that he wanted to dance to impress his mother up in the heavens, and that was essentially it. So Tāne Rore did the specific action called a wiri, which will be the first action that I'm going to teach you today. Wiri, hands down by your sides, and we are just quivering, okay? So your hands are shaped like this. They stay relatively close, not jazz hands. Nice and close like this. Now what wiri represents is life. Pretty much if you're able to wiri, it means that.
Paraha, he was about this big, very small man. But he was born and raised in a tribe in the central North Island called Ngāti Maniapoto. He was no descendant. His father wasn't a chief is the way I would like to say it. But his uncle was a big chief of this tribe. And this uncle was on his dying deathbed, and he asked the question, who will lead my people when I pass on? This uncle, having 6 sons that were this big, none of them actually wanted to take up the challenge. So Te Rauparaha said, Uncle, when you pass on, I will take the challenge of leading our people. I will carry on your name. And so the uncle passed away, and Te Rauparaha became the chief. The problems escalated when he became a leader, because he caused many problems in the surrounding area. He ate a few people he shouldn't have, killed a few people he shouldn't have. And in doing so, the committee decided that Te Rauparaha doesn't fit the mould we need for a chief. So a decision was made that Te Rauparaha was to take his people, his followers, and they told him to go migrate somewhere else, take your problems with you, we no longer want you to run our name through the mud. And so he did. However, one of the sons was like, he got away with this too easy. Someone with the, someone who chose to behave a certain way with certain actions didn't actually have the right consequences, he believed. So he gathered about 130 people to chase after Te Rauparaha. And Te Rauparaha heard of this. And so, hearing upon this sort of act, he told his people to hide in the forest with where Tani Mauta, the god of the forest, will look after him. And he told his people, I'll come back to you because I'd made a promise to my uncle that I would lead my people and I would be a successor of him. So Te Rauparaha went running all around the North Island, and this war party was chasing him. He got to the middle of the North Island where there was a lake, and there was an island in the middle, and he was familiar with this place. And so Te Rauparaha was like, cool, I'm going to swim over to you because I have a cousin who lives here. He gets to the shore out of the water, and he's greeted by his cousin Te Whararangi. And Te Rauparaha, coming out of the water, he's like, cousin, you must help me. I can no longer run. This war party's been chasing me. I can smell them, I can taste them in the air, but I have no more energy. And the problems with this was that Te Whararangi had a tribe on a small island and mostly consisted of women, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So a few conceptual sort of ideas I'll bring in so it makes a more understanding for you guys in the story is, in our culture, our women are far more spiritually powerful and higher in the hierarchy than our men. Yes. Yeah. Like my sisters, eh? The reason being is this part of the body which females obviously have. It's the name of it is they're called the whare tangata, so the house of men. This place is known to be very spiritually powerful in the way we perceive life, because this is the creation of life. So, yeah, men are the destroyers, our women are the creators, hence why we need more women in tribes. To grow a tribe, then more men. So you can always have a strong tribe if you have one man, many women. I'm not trying to say anything yet. But yeah, generally tribes will not sustain if there's too many men and not enough women. Yeah. So the story with this is, to carry on where I left off before, Te Wharerangi was like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm on this island full of women, and you've got 130 men chasing after you. What do you want us to do? And Te Rauparaha said, I will do anything. And so his cousin was like, cool, you're not going to like this. What we're going to do is we're going to put you in these sweet potato pits. You're going to hide in this hole, we're going to cover you up, and my wife, Te Rangi Kuaia, will sit above you. And yeah, so my wife, Te Rangi Kuaia, will sit above you. Generally back in those days, it wasn't really considered to be a good thing, sitting so close to a woman around this area, because its spiritual powers could kind of rip this chiefly sort of thing we called mana. So have anyone heard of the word mana? Prior to manaakitanga, but mana is this sort of like inner chiefliness, sort of like respect. You know, it takes years to kind of grow in terms of how you look after people, how you lead people, but only split seconds to be taken away. So in this sort of sense, it's more of a chiefly. People follow him because he has this big amount of mana. And then to kind of speed up things, sorry, I don't like to talk for too long. The war party come to the island. And they seen Te Whararangi, and the chief who was leading this war party, he comes, Tūteka, he comes to ask Te Whararangi, kei here te rauparaha, where is te rauparaha? And upon this conversation, te rauparaha is sitting in this hole, listening to the conversation. And his cousin goes, I haven't seen him, you know, he hasn't been here, he must have taken off. And in the whole te rauparaha chants, kamate, kamate, which translates to, will I die, will I die? But hearing the response of his cousin, he chants, ka ora, I will live, I will live. The same interaction comes as Tūteka approaches Rangi Kuwaia. He asks the same thing and she says, I don't know where he is, we haven't seen him, he's been days long gone. And again, the same response, kamate, kamate, will I die, ka ora, I will live, I will live. The war party left. This is a really short version of the story. The war party left and they open up the hole and Te Rauparaha sees his cousin. And so the next paragraph is Tēnei te tangata pūruru nānai te kumai whakawhiti te rā, which translate roughly to, who is this hairy man above me who has allowed me to see the light? And then the last part of the haka, upane, kaupane, onwards and upwards, upane, kaupane, whiti te rā, onwards and upwards into the rays of the sun. So the haka, that story behind it, nothing's about talking about ripping your guts out or killing. It's more, the reason why we gave it to the All Blacks is one, it's 27 seconds long, but two, the story encompasses what are you willing to do to get through the day. So when they are offering this challenge to the opponents, they are willing, pretty much saying, I'm willing to do anything to win this game. So hopefully that changes your perspective about what haka is and why we do it. Yeah. So we can kind of spread out. So we're going to start off with a few commands. So when I say hope, you're just going to put your hands on your hips. Hope, and when I say kiraro, you're just going to put your hands down. Hope, kiraro, hope, kiraro, and then kawari. So that the one that earlier that Ari's taught us. So we do this before starting the haka, so everyone's kind of switched on. You don't want to start a haka and you're like halfway through eating something. Ooh, I've got to be on. So, yeah. So these are just some sort of commands just to get everyone ready. And usually, if you can remember the haka we done a few minutes ago, you'll hear me say this sentence, taringa whakarongo, which doesn't sound like what you think it says. So taringa whakarongo means, are you listening? And then kia rite means to be ready. So when I say taringa whakarongo, and you kia rite, I want the men and men only, and this is when we do our pukana, to go, ready? Give it a go. Taringa whakarongo, kia rite. Come on, you're going to scare me. If I was a war party coming in, I'm running straight through. So we'll go again. So, men and men only, tongues out, and then I've got one for you, wahine and a reason behind it. Okay, now. You ready? Taringa whakarongo, kia rite. Give it a go, boys. Kia rite. Cool. So for wahine, so our females, there is no tongue action. I don't mean that. And I don't mean that literally. The reason being is when you've got war parties coming on, for us males, when we see another war party, obviously one, it's to intimidate the crew that is coming on to pretty much fight. We're saying we're pretty much here to eat you. But in terms of these war parties, it's actually mixed with men and women. Sometimes you'll see some women come on. And the reason why men and men only do the tongue is because it represents part of the male anatomy that obviously the females don't. So for us back then, it was like our daily Tinder. So yes, a lot better over here. So for our females, your pukana is more of a really haunting those eyes, maybe show a bit of teeth. You know, thank God he said teeth. So no tongue actions, alright? So we're going to try this again. So ready? Taringa whakarongo, kia rite. Kia rite. And then my last one. I'm going to say a last command when I say kia mau. And so when I say kia mau, I want all the males to go he. And for all our females, so males will go down and squat. All of our females will just clench your fists, put it on your hips, and you will stand nice and tall and go hee. Right? Reason why is because our females represent the po or the pillars of a house, because they're the ones who create a home. Men, you're only down there because you're in the trenches. I've never been told why. I've always been squatting for all my life. Alright, so we'll start again. Hope, kiraro, hope, kiraro, kia uri. Hey. Tāringa whakarongo, kia rite. Kia rite. Hui kia mau. And so yeah, just on your hips. So the start of the haka goes like this. So we're like ringa pakia, which means slap your thighs, and please refrain to keep eating yourself. So ringa pakia. Now thinking about those bellies of kotahitanga, we'll all try to keep them in the same rhythm.
Just remember that.
Nice. Nice. So that's the start of the haka. Cool. Now that we're starting to start, I'm going to teach you the words before we kind of get into the action. So we can stop there. So